glide paints, I'm going to be airbrushing. Now, I'm only going to be showing you two patterns, which is these two, including this one, the trout, and the previous one. Hope you like it. Now here, they're all clear coated, and I'm trying to get a closer, like a close up with the camera, but it seems like the light takes over the little details, so I'm just trying to get different angles on what I actually got. You won't be seeing the injured fish pattern on how I did it, and you won't be seeing the blue one, which it's the same as the other one, just a little bit of pearl blue on top. Just that, nothing major. But I do hope you guys do like this, and let me know in the comments what you guys think of this. Now, I know I had done a video of me and the GoPro, but this was the last time I used it. I actually don't have them anymore. They were inside my GoPro backpack, and when I went fishing, I forgot that I had the backpack inside the boat, and I got it wet, and now I don't have any working GoPros, so now I'm gonna have to buy another one, which is okay. I'll stay updated with a new one, but hopefully you guys can see the little details on these baits. And more than my fingerprints. I should have cleaned it before I showed it to you guys, but keep in mind I am not a professional or an expert. I'm just showing you guys the way I do it and how it works for me. Now, one of the baits is mine, and the other baits are two friends of mine that actually requested those patterns. I never had an injured fish, so I added a little bit of blood just to change it up a little bit, and so that one's mine, this one right here. But the other one, the color shift, that one's actually my wife's. She picked that one. So two of my friends, mine and my wife's. And here, I already primed the bait with black primer and a black Createx layer of opaque black. That's pretty much it. And here, I'm just getting some mesh and fixing it up. That way I could just cut it with the scissors. And honestly, you could get like a whole year's supply of mesh for like $6. That's how much I got. I got a whole bunch for like $6 at a mom and pop's. But you know, you can reuse it so many times. It's not like you use it one time and then you gotta throw it away. No, you can use it so many times. But here, I had made some already. All I do is cut it to the size, and then I get some clips, and then after the clips, I just pretty much, start spraying right after that, but that's it. And excuse the noises, it's the dog. Hopefully didn't make too much noise. But anyways, sorry I got a little distracted, but I was like, wow, now it wants to make noise now that I'm recording. But anyways, you just get different types of clips, alligator clips or these types of clips, put it to the mesh, make sure it's stretched out, you don't want to leave any bubbles. But that's pretty much it. Just make sure that you stretch it out. And after that, you just start spraying. start adding the color shift paint on that one. Now, I will show you the type of paint that I use, and keep in mind you do want to use it on a black surface. It does work best when you are using it on a black surface. Now, you don't want to overspray too much, and you're going to see once I start grabbing the airbrush, you'll see. One thing I like to do is always spray my glove. From my previous videos, you'll see that, and you should know that by now. I always like to spray my glove before I go on the paint, or sometimes I just feel confident and go straight forward. But on these, you just want to do light layers, and I'm struggling here with the clips just because I am not trying to get any loose parts on the body. I'm just trying to have it all stretched out as possible. That way I have a clean looking fish, and it's only when it comes to the scales. This mesh, I use it just to create those fish scales. I don't like to do it on the gills. I just do it like behind the gills and the rest of the body. But you know, you do it however you want to do it. It's your bait. And the reason why I'm showing you this is in case you want to start painting your baits, save some money. That's what I did. I was not trying to pay $70 for a 10-inch triple drug, so I said no. In the beginning, it might be a little expensive. You gotta buy your airbrush. You do gotta buy your compressor, your paints, just little minor tools like helping hands, you know, your Windex to clean the gun. At least that's what I use. Ammonia free, cleans it very well. And honestly, little things, it becomes expensive, but once you have everything, everything's just pretty much cake. All you gotta do is the work. And now it seems like now we can get started. So let's get ready. But I guess not, since I still have the tail. And let's just finish it up. It seems like this is the last piece. Obviously, I already finished the other ones. I'm not going to record the whole process, so it'll take forever. As you can see, it already takes long enough. I'm trying to get it right on one. So, and I just take a little longer because I'm not trying to have any bubbles of mesh on my bait. You want it stretched out nice. A little tight, not too loose. But just making sure that, like I said, you don't have any bubbles or wrinkles on the side of the bait with the mesh. And since obviously you didn't see me doing the first ones, I will be skipping on some parts of the video just so that I'm not making a video like a 3 hour long video. But I hope it helps you if you're into airbrushing or want to get into airbrushing. Now, I did explain some of the process on other videos, which I may be skipping. Like for instance, how do I clean my airbrush between paints. But just go ahead and follow if you want to do the same patterns. But I'll be showing you the paints that I'm using, everything, how I do my trout dots. A lot of people ask me, hey, how do you do your trout dots? I'm actually going to show you on this one. So here, I already started airbrushing this front part of the bait with that I showed you guys earlier, the one that does color shift, the color change with light or with the angle. So the paint that I'm using is from the brand Green Stuff World. Green Stuff World. Green Stuff World. Now, it's the silver color shift paint. You'll see it if you go to their website, Green Stuff World. Now, their paints are a little bit more expensive than your average Createx, but you don't have to spray a lot. You actually gotta do very, very light layers, as you're gonna be seeing me do this on these paints. If you overdo it, you're just gonna have a silver color, and you won't get that effect of a color change. So you want to do light colors, light layers. You don't want to overdo it, because then that's when you're not going to have that effect, and that's the only reason why you get those colors, to get that color shift. So just try to be careful not to overdo it. That's one trick I recommend. Do it as light as possible. And I'm always spraying my glove, just because I don't want to overspray. I want to make sure that, you know, my pressure's right and all that. But other than that, it's just pretty much it. And for now, I'm just going to be doing that to all the paints. It's just going to be pretty much a session of me spraying this to all of them. So I'm going to try to skip it a little bit. And but for now, let's just keep going as it is. So I got my front part done, it seems like it. I know it looks a little black, and you're like, okay, I don't see anything, but you will. And that's how I got the colors of the paint that you saw earlier in the video, when this video actually started. This is the paint right here, the Green Stuff World. You don't need too much. And that one seems to be done. I hope so. Actually, no. I need to spray a little bit more. Now, keep in mind, you still want to go from one side to the other side. You do not want to have, you know, like uneven sides. Sometimes having uneven sides is good too, because it makes it look more natural than just the perfect airbrush, you know. So, but if you want a nice, smooth, even color from side to side, don't try to spray here and then there, there. You know, hitting the trigger at different times. Just hold it and go from side to side, holding the trigger one time. But it just needs a little more. And as you can see, I'm going to be doing the same thing to the tail part of the glide page. And I know, like I said earlier, I know it doesn't look like anything's happening. It still looks black, just like a shiny, glossy black. But I know it's gonna change, and you will see as you keep watching this video. Now you can start seeing a little bit of a difference. And I know I am taking a little while on one piece spraying it, but I'm taking my time so I could get that effect that I want. Like I said, you gotta be careful by not overspraying. It's very easy to just go ahead and, you know, let me spray a whole bunch, and then it just becomes silver and you don't have any color effect. So I can't stress enough on, you know, repeating this. Just make sure you don't overdo it. Go light, the color effect. You know, the color change. Keep it there. And the reason for it, keep in mind you will be adding a top color, bottom color. In case you overspray a little bit, you could always spray a little bit more of this. So, with that being said, I'm just gonna keep spraying more silver, more of that color from Green Stuff World, and they are a little bit more expensive, like I mentioned, and they do take longer to, to get delivered since they do come from Europe. The stencils that I use for the trout dots also come from Europe. And I'm going to show you and I'll tell you the brand and everything once I get to that part. But first, let's just finish up with this silver. And I'm probably just going to show you a couple of them. I'm not going to show you I'm not going to show me spraying all the paints. Like I said, I'll be here all day, and that would just take too long. But anyways, if you guys want to give me some tips, drop it down in the comments. Anything I'm doing wrong, let me know. This is just how I do it for my friends and my paints. But yeah, let's just skip a little. So, I'm just gonna put the gun away. And I forgot I didn't have my mask. Like I mentioned before, the mask is very important, super important, and everything I use, I pretty much have a link down below on the description. But a lot of people say, oh, you really don't need a mask for water-based paints. I'd rather be on the safe side. I think that if you're airbrushing in one area, a lot of times you see paint, like say on the walls, on top, on the table, just a whole bunch of old paint. So I figured that's the same thing that would happen to your lungs. So why not protect them if you can? You're gonna spend about $50-$60 on a good mask, but you're spending it on your health more than a mask. So that's pretty much how I see it. You're spending it on your lungs, just protecting them. But to each its own. Some people don't want to use a mask when they're brushing. Some people do. I do all the time, and especially when I'm clear coating. That is a must. Clear coating is a must when it comes to masks. Now, there's nothing special going on right now, but just me adding that silver to most of the paints. Hopefully you guys do see the mesh is still on. I'm only adding the silver on the sides, keeping the top a little darker. Nothing too fancy. So this process is actually very, very easy. And as you can see, I'm not gonna make it too complicated. It is what it is, just black and that color shift paint. Light layers, simple as that. Nothing too complicated. But yeah, so I'll just keep going and add a little bit on the top, but not as much as on the sides. And adding a little bit of more paint. I add a little bit and a little bit. I don't add a whole bunch. I know the more I have on the gun, the more I'm gonna be tempted to spray. So I just take it lightly and go on. But hopefully you guys can actually see some of the color shift on these paints. On these paints, actually, sorry. On these paints, the sun actually shows it better. The only thing is that with this camera, it just turns super, super bright. The whole paint is like just a piece of light, and it doesn't really get the light. But yeah, that's pretty much for that one right there. We just gotta get to other ones. I'm just gonna set this paint here and probably skip to the next step. That way, you know, we can just rush it up a little bit. I'll probably be doing it too. And as you can see, I'll just finish up the other ones with the silver, and pretty much show you the next step. I don't want to bore you with just silver, so let me prep this one real quick. Just spray it a little bit, nothing too fancy, just a little tiny bit, light layers. As you can see, I'm actually shooting this one at an angle, so you can see how I'm doing it left and right, like I mentioned earlier. Left and right, left and right. And you can see it's still dark, but that's good enough. Once it dries, you actually get a better look at what the paint's actually gonna look like. So always don't overdo it, let it dry, and then see if you need more. But this one looks pretty ready, to be honest. I'm just gonna spray a little bit, and let's get on to the next step. That way we're just not, you know, talking about how much silver you gotta add. You already know. So tackle your taste. But if you want that color effect, just keep it light. Well, anyways, let's just go on to the next step. And let's just put this one away real quick. And that's it. So here, I'm actually adding a little bit of transparent purple to the top part of the paint, like the top half actually. Very light transparent purple, and this is gonna be my trout. And you don't also want to do the purple. You don't want to overdo it. Just light enough, very, very light until you can see the purple. And that's pretty much it. If you can see a little bit of purple, that's all you need. And I know there's different trouts. There's trouts with the green instead of purple. There's trouts with a little bit of gold instead of purple. It just, you know, your taste. You do it however you want to do it, but I like purple trouts. I usually, whenever I see a pattern with a trout that has purple on it, I just immediately like it for some reason, just naturally. I'm like, oh, I like this one, and then I realize that it's a purple trout. But anyways, that's pretty much for that. So now I'm just looking for the second half of the trout, which is this one right here. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of purple, and it's on the top half of the paint, just very lightly. You need nothing too much. You don't want to overdo it. You're gonna hear me say this a lot. You don't want to overdo it. That's gonna be one of my words on every video that I'm airbrushing. You're gonna hear, you don't want to overdo it. But that's it. Just add transparent purple on top of the silver color that you just did. And this one here is gonna be the trout that you saw earlier in the video. But that's pretty much it. Just a little bit of purple on the side, and you're good to happened right there. Luckily, I sprayed on the glove before the paint. The paint. Now, we can actually move on to the next step. So we got the primer, we got the color shift silver, and now we got the purple. Now, I'm just gonna return my paint back into the bottle. And the reason for that is just to save a little bit of paint and money, right? Now here I'm just gonna add a little bit of black. Create text or wicked. I like wicked colors. You know, you don't gotta add a lot of reducer. But here I'm just adding black on the top part of the fish. You know, giving it a little bit of shadow. A very, very thin line. So whatever you see from the top, that's what's black. A little bit of that. Nothing too much, nothing too crazy. And I'll be doing that to all of them. Just adding a little black, a little bit of black to the top part, going from the nose to the top. And let's just add a little bit of that to all of them. Just left and right, or right and left, but make sure that you have like an even motion of spray. You do not want to have blotches of, oh, I have more here and I have more there. It looks like I sprayed last here. It looks like I missed a spray there. You know, just take your time, especially when the paints are a little bit pricey. Take your time, do it right. If you do it right the first time, you don't have to do it again. And if you don't have to do it again, you're going to save yourself some time, some paint, and, you know, a faster turnout for yourself, a faster turnout for your friends, or just a faster turnout to whoever you're doing a job for when it comes to airbrushing a lure. Not just the big swim bait, but any lure. Take your time. If you rush it, that's when you see mistakes happen. That's when you can actually, you know, just paint in the wrong places. But luckily, fish don't care about that. They just want to see the action. A lot of times I do think that the paints do work. Certain colors, especially, like I'm a big believer in bone colors, white colors when it comes to top water. I know that usually works for me. I have a lot of confidence, or trout patterns, but sometimes I feel like the fish only cares about the action. But anyways, here I have my stencil. This stencil it's from Anarchy. Stencils, Anarchy models. Just Google Anarchy airbrush stencils, and that's where you could get your dots from. So all I do is a quick spray. This one's called the molten dots. If you actually go under fishing stencils or fishing lures, you'll see these, and you just pick them, and they are kind of pricey as well, but well worth it. You don't have to grab a toothpick and actually make the bubbles. Me personally, I don't like a toothpick. The toothpick dots, you could obviously tell who makes their dots by a toothpick. Nothing against them, or who uses a stencil and who uses an airbrush to do the dots. I just feel like an airbrush gives you a cleaner look. But love it. I use this way too much. I might have to place another order in case something happens to this one. But yeah, you can't really see the dots yet, but you will. Or you can always go back to the beginning of the video where I'm showing the paints and the dots, and this is how I make them. This is how they're made. And I really like these dots because these dots get very realistic. It's the closest thing I've seen to like real fish dots. So I like to overdo it on my dots. Sometimes it makes it look natural. Just depends on the pattern. Sometimes I like to go light on the dots. This time I went a little heavy. But this is kind of like a dark trout. And you'll eventually get to see a little bit of the dots in a bit. But I like to get close to the eyes and the cheeks. A little bit of dots. You know, give it a little bit of a natural look. But that's pretty much it. And I know the paint still looks black, but it's not. Once you see it in the light, you'll be able to see it. Now, I dropped the paint, but it's all good. The paint was already dried. And as you can see, I'm doing the dots with the mesh on it. I didn't take it off. I still have it on. Now, I did one side, now I just gotta finish the other side. And I start off with the line across. That's gonna be the lowest I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go any lower than that, and I just work my way up. I really want to get those dots, but I need better lighting, to be honest. Next time I'm gonna have to use a different camera to record my airbrushing. I might actually have better quality since I'm gonna be using another camera instead of the GoPro. Since now I don't have GoPros, since I mentioned earlier, I messed them up on accident. I wet them and they weren't in their cases. That was my fault. But you know what? I did catch a 10-pound striper, which I'll be showing footage on the next video. And I couldn't record it obviously because my GoPros were done so. But I did take a video of me weighing it, or a picture holding it. So you'll see a little bit of that. And let's just add a little bit of dots to the tail. I got so many different clips. I just add whatever I have. Nothing is there just because, oh, I want it this way. It was just whatever I had in hand. Whatever I had near me. Whatever I found in my box. But pretty much these are the stencils. They're from Anarchy Stencils or Anarchy Models. They're also from the UK, I believe. But I'll leave a link below to those and the paint. Now, I'm just gonna start taking the mesh off from this towel, so I can actually show you guys how the dots came out, how the whole thing came out, the purple, the silver, the black, the dots, and hopefully it's something you guys do like. And again, my lighting, it's not so great, but if you really want to see them, go to the beginning of the video. The purple trout, that's actually this one. And so you get a better glance of how the dots came out to be, along But yeah, these patterns are actually not too complicated if you have the right tools. Having the right stencil can make a big difference. Makes everything easier, gives it a realistic look. But it just sucks that I couldn't get it on camera right now. But it is in the beginning of the video. So I actually forgot to do the dots on top of this paint, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of mash and hold it with my fingers. Or maybe not. I'm just gonna go straight like this. Do some different style of dots. It's not gonna be a lot anyways. Like that. Holding it like that. But I need to get a hold of the airbrush and add some paint because I won't be able to do it once I'm holding the paint and the stencil. So why not do it now and then hold the paint and the stencil? But for now, let's just try out spraying. A little bit of spray on the glove, making sure everything is running good. Now everything looks good. Let's just add the stencil onto the top part of the paint and spray. Like I said, take your time. There's no reason for you to rush a paint job. You're only going to take longer fixing your mistakes if you rush it. So there you go. I like dots everywhere. Little details count. So you could even put them in spaces where people will be like, how do you make a dot up there? How do you make a dot on the fin? Honestly, it's all in the stencil. Like I said, if you have the right tools, the right stencils, makes everything much easier. It makes it seem like your process was like way more complicated than what it actually looks. Than what it actually is, I'm sorry. But I do recommend investing in some good stencils. Honestly, I recommend investing in something good in anything you do. Whether it's fishing, airbrushing, anything. If you like something, invest in it. Keep in mind if it's going to make you happy and it's something you like. Investing in the right tools and the right items will never be a bad idea, especially if it's to help you with something. If it's going to help you, if it's going to benefit you. It's kind of more like a need and want type of thing. Like you don't need it, but you want it. But you know that if you use it, it would help. So it kind of falls under the need, you could say. Whether you don't, because you could always do it by hand or with a toothpick. But if you want a better presentation at the end of the day, that's the way to go. Now, here, I'm just adding a little bit of reducer to one of the cups. I'm just getting my little chopstick. I'm sorry, my toothpick. I don't know why I said chopstick, probably because I'm just tired and sleepy. But I do want to get a video out for you guys. I know it's been a long time, very long time. Here, I just have my opaque white, adding silver. But earlier I said I like bone or white paints, so I feel like adding a little bit of white helps out. Like I said, paint might not work. A lot of times they say that, you know, paint jobs are to catch fishermen, not fish. It's kind of true. But I seen paint jobs catch fish. I seen other paints catch more, other color patterns catch more fish than other patterns. So, you know, it's just the luck, it's just the area, but a lot of times you can even catch fish with trout patterns on places that never seen a trout. Shad patterns with on places that never seen shad. You know, you could even have a shark lure and catch something. I honestly feel like a lot of it comes down to the action and how you're working the bait. Do the fish want the bait fast? Do the fish want the bait slow? Do they want twitches? Do they want pauses, short pauses, long pauses? It just depends on the day. But, you know, if a paint job gives you confidence, then go for it. If a paint job makes your paint look better, you know, you don't want to have a busty looking paint, go for it. There's many reasons why people want paint jobs. You know, just to kind of like maintaining a paint. It could just be that, you know, you don't want your paint to start, you know, looking old. So you just give it a little bit of maintenance by getting a paint job on it. But here, I just like to add a little bit of white on the belly, on the lips, and also on the gills. Right under the eyes, all the way to the back part of the gill. But you can see what a difference the white makes. And you just want to add very, very, very thin layers and very, very thick. You don't want to overspray to the side too much. You just want to do the belly, keep in mind. And here I'm just doing the lips along with the belly. I will be doing the gills shortly, and you will see. Maybe I might want to go up a little bit of more white on top, you know, to give it more white on the belly, make it look like a fatter belly, like a wider belly, instead of just a white skinny belly. So might be adding a little bit of white to it, but right now I'm just going to do the gill. And you can see a little bit of the dots, not too much, just a very tiny bit. But I always spray my glove before spraying anywhere else. But here I'm just getting the gill. Nothing, you don't want to do too much, just enough. And there you go. White and black can be very dangerous if you overspray, especially white, because white on darker colors. Can you imagine if I get some of the white on that purple or on the silver? So I'm just, you know, making sure that my glove gets all the overspray in case there's any. But that's done. I'm going to put this away. Make it hold on one of these. I'm actually going to hang it. I'm just going to hang it with a paper clip. And that's it for this one. And I'll be working on this one. I'll be back to this one. But, here's another one, just adding more white on the belly. Nothing too fancy, nothing too complicated. And here's another one. I'm just adding more white, making a white belly like I mentioned earlier. I like my white bellies on my paints. So, it just gives it kind of like a little bit of depth, I feel. You could make a fat belly by bringing the white higher, or you could make a skinnier belly by bringing the white low or keeping it low, just the bottom part. It's up to you how you want to do it. But here, I already took the mesh off from this one, so the belly doesn't really need scales. It's usually the sides and a little bit of the top. The belly, not really. But anyways, that's just the belly part with the white. I don't try to add white on different parts, because then you can easily overdo it. And like I said, you don't want to add white on dark parts, on dark paints. So just keep it simple. Don't overdo it. This is like the 100th time you hear me say, don't overdo it. So just keep it like that and hang it up. This one might be done. I'm not sure, but I do need to come back to the trout one. So I'm just trying to get a few on the light. Sorry if you can't see it, but time to hang it and get on to the next one. But yeah, those are my clips, and time for the next one. I just need to hang that one. And this one, I'm pretty much just doing the same thing as I did to the other ones. Just adding white on the belly. I bring it all the way to the cheeks, to the gills, to the bottom part of the eye, all the way to the tip of the nose. And I feel like if you bring the white higher, the bigger the belly. You bring it down a little more, the slimmer the belly. That's how I think. May be wrong, but that's how I kind of go when painting my paints. And that's how it looks. But hopefully you guys are getting the idea of what I'm talking about. A little bit of black on the top, a little bit of white and silver in the middle. That's honestly, that's pretty much it. I will be adding a little bit of more color on around the eyes, but for now I'm just going to be doing white bellies, focusing on that, focusing on the bottom part of every paint. And that's it. You usually want to take advantage of the color you're using and adding it to the other paints. That way you're not, cleaning your paint all the time and wasting time on it. Here I noticed that I needed to add more white. That way I could give it more depth. But make it look a little bit more fat, to my eyes. I'm pretty sure it probably doesn't look fat to a fish. They probably can't even see the colors. Who knows? But paint jobs catch fishermen, not fish. I'm just kidding, I don't know, that's what I heard. Who knows, it might be true. It's actually, I've been caught by paint jobs on some baits that I ended up reselling, but I got them because I did like the paint job. And I was like, wow, that's really nice. I actually never thought I'd get this, but I like this paint job. It's something I've been looking for. And then I didn't like it, so I just sold it. But, and I'm not gonna say no names on what paint, because to each its own. Some of us do like certain paint, some of us don't. But this is me just finishing up the white on some bellies. I'm adding a little bit of gold to the cheek. It's just pearl gold. The color that I'm using here is pearl gold, and I'm just doing it very lightly. The reason why I'm doing it very lightly is you can actually get like that color shift, like whenever you look, you change the angle of your paint, you can see a little bit of the gold, a little bit of the white, but I just left it on just by adding very, very light layers of gold, pearl gold. And honestly, that was pretty much it. Nothing major, nothing too complicated. I try to keep my jobs as easy as possible. Adding the colors, just having a pattern, having a plan. What color do you want your scales? Do you want them to be white or black? I usually like them black, so I do a black layer first, and then I add that layer of silver or white or gold or whatever color you're gonna do your fish. But and then once you take the mesh off, you have that first layer as the scales. So, and it's just pretty much adding the primer and a layer, and then your main color, and then comes your transparent or pearls, and black top, white belly. That's pretty much it. There's not a lot of rocket science. You have your layers of primers or your first coat, and then your main color, your black on top, white on bottom, and then transparent or pearls. That's it. Here, I made some stencils myself. First, I drew it on tape, and then from tape, I brought it over to like those vanilla folders. I like to use the vanilla folders just because they are pretty thick. It's not like paper. And then keep in mind, the reason why you do want something thick is because if you spray, say you have reducer on your paints, so the reducer is pretty much just liquid. It's like water. So what happens if you add water to paper? It kind of messes it up, right? And it kind of goes through, and then you have a mess. So with vanilla folders, you could just cut a little piece, put the tape on top, draw something on tape, then tape that to the piece of vanilla folder, and then you can just airbrush and reuse it so many times. But that's just pretty much it. I just add a little bit of black. I usually add transparent black to my fins and a little bit of yellow, but I ran out, so I'm just gonna do it with the regular opaque black. Or actually, this is like a different black. I'm not sure if it's like a jet black, but I usually recommend transparent black for fins or any transparent colors, very light layers. It's very easy to overdo fins too, so make sure you practice before you go on the lure. Practice on a sheet of paper, cut your stencil out, and then practice on something that you don't need until you get the right pattern. I still need a lot of practice on them, but I think I kind of got an idea. And keep in mind, you might not do it right, but you're not gonna get it right until you keep doing it and doing it and doing it. You might get it right the first time, you might get it right the 10th time, but you won't get it right the 10th time if you don't do it wrong the 9 times. So all you gotta do, what I'm just trying mess up, then, you know, get creative. Add a little bit of white again to the belly and redo it. But that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna add a little bit of black around the eyes, you know, to kind of give it that little angry look, a little aggressive look, a little mean look. So that's pretty much it. You don't want to overdo it, but I like to add a little bit of black to the nose. I like to add a little bit of black to the eyes, and on top of the head. You know, black makes a lot of stuff stand out, and that's pretty much it. And honestly, I really hope you guys do like this. These types of videos. I know I couldn't show a lot. The distance of the camera doesn't show too much, but I'm gonna try something better for my next video. I will actually, one of my friends actually sent me an OG Lunger Bunker, which I'm gonna be airbrushing, and that one I will record it. And he just told me have fun with it. I love to do trout patterns, so I'm gonna do a trout pattern for him. And or actually, if you guys would like me to do any cool patterns, let me know in the comments. If I see that you guys request a certain one a lot, I will do that. He actually told me to have fun with it, with the pattern, so I have some ideas of what I want to do. Kind of like a light trout. I had in mind to do a light trout, but we'll see. And just keep in mind a lot of the stuff that I do use. I do add the links onto the description. It might not be everything, but it might be something you need. Some of the stuff that I'll be adding is from the green stuff world. The paints that I use and the primers. My primers also come from green stuff world. And I don't use automotive primers. At the end of the day, your paint will get hook rash, you know, and it's just easier to clean up if you need to repaint. It just makes it easier for the next painter. But to each his own. It might work better. From my understanding, it does hold the paint a little better than water-based. But to be honest, I haven't had an issue with the water-based primer. So why move it if it's working right? Why change it? Why fix something that's not broken, you can say. But I'll leave that, and I'll leave the stencils link as well. And pretty much, as you can see, like I said earlier, I just like adding a little bit of black. Makes it look a little bit more mean, a little bit more aggressive, kind of like a little bit, it gives it like a dangerous look.